Hello, I'm going to do a video today on a stair with a curved stringer. I'm not going to do a full curved stair. I'm going to create the threads, um, create the inside and the outside stringers with plates or flat bars as I will put them in, and also how to do your curved railing or how I do the curved railing. So we're just going to start with this simple. This circle is like a 15-foot radius, and then this is 10 feet around each square here. And basically, it's similar to stairs I did recently. So what we're going to do is we'll keep it simple. This is 10 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'll do a 7-inch rise, and I'll do a 12-inch going, which is a lot, but it's definitely used on these types of stairs. Can be, I think the one I did was actually 12, so with the handicap it'll be 13, which is quite large, which is fine for feature stairs a lot of times. So what I'm just doing here is I'm going to create uh, the contour basically of my steps. So I'm going to copy these in an array, and there's going to be 10 of them to there. So as we can see, that's our stairs. So it's going to look like, so this is 15, that's 5, that's 10. So what I want to do is I'm going to draw a line from here out, which is going to be for to create my step. So it's 10. I'm going to go 11 feet, so I'm going to create the pans longer because I'm going to have to cut them back. And then if I come here, I'm going to have my 13-inch thread, plus I want it to go underneath, so I'm going to go another quarter-inch. I want to come down 7 inches. I'm going to go this way 1 inch for the handicap. I'm going to come back up. I'm going to erase those two lines, and that's going to be my step. I'm going to join those two elements. So now I can create the step. So what I'm going to do is come in here, go back to my standard layer. Now I'm going to rotate through the y-axis because we want to create this through the z, as you can see there from my cursor. So come back to your home tab, come here and do a folded beam, right click polyline, select the system line, select the start, select the end, and then I want to make this is your macro for your pan, and I'm going to make it 0.5, and naming, we're going to want to come in here and go to step, and I think we're good at that. We'll have it as a steel step, that would do. We don't need to worry about any of those other things, you know all them already. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use the thickness so that it'll come back in with the same thickness next time if I create another one. So for now, there's one of our pans, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to copy again. Now we can copy like this, or we can select this and go into our advanced copy. Our advanced copy, select the item or select it beforehand, and select the nosing to there, 10 elements. See, it did not pick that line even though it looked like it picked it. So let's pick again from here. It's still not picking it. See, this is picking away in the distance for some reason. So I've had this issue with advanced steel. No, I'm restricted here, that's why. Sorry. Still not good. Now watch when if I do preview. Oh, you know what? I've set my UCS wrong, so that's my error. Sorry about that. So that's fine. That's good the way it is. I didn't realize I clicked here. Sorry. and I'd reset my UCS. Okay, so that's fine. So now we need to cut these at a contour, right? So the contour is going to be, I'm going to come here, the 517 feet. So basically the 17 feet is the 5 foot for the box here, and then the 10 foot. So it's 15 feet from the center out. And I'm going to go 2 feet past, which is going to be 1 foot past the threads, as you can see. And then I'm going to mirror that to the other side through the center point. And then I'm going to draw a line from here over. And that's what I'm going to use to cut the pans. So if you look from the top, you can see we're past this, but we're not past this. So we're going to create a polyline here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these. So select these 3 and then trim the outside of the circle and trim these 2. Now you want to make this into a polyline, and this is something that was driving me crazy for a long time. If I do join, right, and I select these elements and then select this, it has become a polyline. Now sometimes when I do that, it doesn't become a polyline. It becomes a spline, which is a problem. So what I discovered, that if you join these 2 first, or even these 3, and then join these last 2, then it will be a polyline. Alright, it doesn't matter. Just a little lesson if you have trouble turning that into a polyline. So basically this is going to be what I'm going to cut out of these steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that feature, and this is it here, and I'm going to select polyline. Okay, so if you see, it doesn't say objects, so it would be nice if you could pick 2 so that you could cut them all, but as far as I know you can't. So you have to kind of go through them all. So I'll go through them here, we'll do them. I won't bother to pause the video. You guys can fast forward through it if you want to. So if I go up top, you'll see, now if I go right up top, the problem is you can see where it's cut, which is good. Now these are cutting with a contour of 3/4, which I don't want, so I should have spotted that. So I'm getting the top contour there. So what you can do is, I believe you can match these contours. Yeah, so you can go back and switch them if you want, like that. Now I didn't do that purposely, that was an accident. So polyline, and we can see it's a 0. Okay, so that's good. Select polyline. So what we're going to do after this is we're going to set up the stringer and the handrail. So I think we have a couple more to do here. I guess it'll just show you in real time how long it takes. Generally, it's not too bad. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to set up some lines to help us going forward so that we don't have to keep coming back. I've made this mistake in the past by, you know, trying to do things slightly quicker and then just totally losing all the time afterwards. So these features can be a little bit annoying to be looking at, so you can come in here and just turn them off. Alright, so all the features are gone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I was just telling you. I'm going to turn off the unfolded beams first so we don't see those threads. I'm going to go back to my construction lines. I'm going to copy these through an array. So basically I'm creating again what I just did, What I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 extra ones on either end, because we want our spline to be longer either direction, because when you're going to roll your stringer on the outside, you need it to be longer so that they have the extra material to work with. So I've got 2 extended on either end. So now we're going to go back and draw another circle in here with the 15 feet radius that we had, and we're going to trim all these back. So we're going to trim all these objects, but we're going to trim the end of them. So you can kind of do it like this if you want, or you can just select one line at a time, whatever way suits you best. We can cut this one, this one, this one. There you go. Alright, so now if we go up top, if we go up top, you can see that's what we got. These two are 2 extra ones, and these 2 are 2 extra ones. Actually, there's only 1 extra one up here. I want that to be the top of the stairs. Yeah, I want that to be the landing actually, so I really need to put another one up there. So what I'll do is I'll go 1 more. So I want this to be my landing here, so we can join these together. Obviously there's better ways of selecting than that. Sometimes I just get caught up on it. So that's the way I want it. So I want 1 more up here, and there, just so it looks better, so I can see it's continuing this way. Just something for myself. Obviously I want this one out here. Alright, so I gotta trim that one back now. Sorry, I was short the one for the landing. So now what I do is I'm going to draw a circle here. So this is going to be the inside points of my stringer or wall, we'll say. So if I'm using an 1.5 inch schedule 40 pipe, it's like 1 7/8 inches. So for argument's sake, we'll call it 2 inches. So to the center, that would be 1 inch. So really it's 15/16 plus the 1.5 inch space, but we'll call it 2.5. So I'm going to do a 2.5 circle here. Then this point in here will be the point of the center of my railing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these around. So I'm going to copy these around. So this is visually giving me where my lines are going to be, which is what I want, you know, so I can see. I don't have to work off the threads, because you can't snap to the end of where I've cut the threads. I can only snap to the system lines. So obviously one of these got thrown off in the distance, which, as I mentioned, is an issue I have with 2021. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw the spline. So we're going to come in here to the spline command. This here is the end of my stringers, so we're going to come in here. And we're just going to go through the points. Now, obviously you can do these curved stringers using the macro, which I do sometimes, but I also like to just have the ability to do it myself and to understand it fully by doing it this way. Now the inside stringer can be created fairly simply with the flat bar. We can go from this point, we want to go an extra point here, we want to go 1 extra point here. Now obviously we don't want to create that on that layer, but let's call this stringer So we'll put that in a stringer, and it's metal, and it's on the right point, and we can position, we can either move it this way, so let's see, we can move it up 2 inches using that. Sometimes I like to have the system line the way it was, so you can also do it this other way. So what I'll do is let me put this back on the right layer on beams, and then we're going to set the UCS to the stringer, and then we're going to move the stringer up from this point, and you can restrict it in the Z-axis to 2 inches. So there's your 2-inch nosing. And I've got my outside stringer, so what we can do is let's just turn back on our threads so you can see what's going on. So there you go, we got our threads, and let's go on to the standard layer, and we want to create beam for polyline. Now if you try it right now, it seems like it's working. Delete selected item, no, and then it doesn't work because it's not a polyline right now. It's also my UTS wasn't in the right orientation. It's a spline, right? So we want to go, sorry, I was just thinking there, we want to convert it like you can do. It comes in automatically at 10, but when you click on it you can see that's quite a lot of facets, so you can reduce that by just backing up and then select it again. You can see it's still a spline, and then I want to create that into polyline again, sorry, and what I'll do is 8. So 8 will do for me for now. Still quite a few facets, should probably make it less, but it doesn't, it's up to yourself, your own preference. So let me set my UCS back to world and select polyline, no, and you can see there it has created my stringer. Now if I go to the top of this, you can see that's all kind of jacked up. So what you want to do is go back into it, go to positioning, preserve orientation, and that's where I want it to be. So let's see, if I go back to shaded, you can see now you have your curved stringer with your pans in there. Your nosing is not right, so you can either do it the same way we did this one. So in theory it should be fine to do this, and then move this up in the Z-axis 2 inches. Alright, so now the other thing we need to do is, well, you probably want to create a landing piece, right? So see all this extra here and down here, this, they need this for rolling anyway, so they'll tell you how much they need, I guess, whoever's rolling the piece. So I guess now you want to do a handrail. So now if you want to do the handrail, what I would do is I would turn off the steps again, and then I do spline again, and this time we're doing the spline from the intersection point. So what you can do is come back down here and turn all these off, turn on intersection, and then go back again to your polyline contour, and it's going to pick that point. Now obviously this will be slightly different if you have a true spiral stairs, which is going back to a point in the middle. Generally for that you're going to use the macro, so that's why I use this type of stairs. And we'll get the handrail in here. And do the same thing, spline. I'm just thinking the best way to explain it. So also what you're going to have is we can also draw a circle here. So let's go to our other construction line layer and we'll draw a circle from center point. Sorry, my UCS is all jacked up again. And I have all these turned off, of course. From center here. Not quite sure what I did there. Circle. I think it was a little higher. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's making that circle so big. So what I'll do is let's draw a line up in the Z direction, up as far as the one that we want on the landing, which is this one here. And then let's draw a circle. We'll do a 15-foot circle first. And that goes through that point. That's good. See, we probably don't need to make this that long, but it's fine. And then we're going to draw another circle here. And this is going to follow that handrail. And that's the only thing you might get covered. You might want to put these ones a different color, the ones you're not actually using, the extra ones, because you might snap to them by accident. So it's this one here I want to go to. Now, I'm sure there's probably a better way of doing this than I'm doing it. This is just my way that I figured out to do it. And believe you me, it took me a while to figure it out. So I'm going to copy -45. Okay. So trim. So that's the other part of your handrail is here, and now you have this handrail here, and obviously you want to move them up. This one then is going to be your landing, this one here. So what we can do is we can extend to this circle these lines again that we just used, and then we can trim back that outside circle, and that's going to be your outside stringer. So we can move that up 2 inches. And what we can do is beam from line again. Let's switch this back to standard, and then you can do beam from line, polyline. There's your other stringer for your landing, so you just have to join these two together. You can see they're a little out, which they're going to be. You have to cut them in together. They should be a little closer than that, to be fair. Maybe I made a little error with one of my dimensions, or maybe it's just the facets look off. So let's do the handrail anyway. So let's go in here. And this is still a polyline, right? Yeah. So spline, sorry, that's still a spline. So convert to polyline, it'll give you the last, which is 8, last selection. So I'm going to create beam from that line, polyline, no. And I'm going to change this to circular hollow section. Sorry, I couldn't see it there. And I'm going to do standard pipe and 1.5" schedule 40 pipe, and we can just pick top center. Preserve orientation, there you go. There's a handrail, okay. And then do the same over here. And for a handrail, it's probably going to be up 2'10" or 3 feet. I like to do 3 feet just so I'm not too low. And that's kind of where you're at. I hope that helps. It's not perfect, obviously, but it kind of gives you an idea of where to go and what to do when you're doing this type of stairs. Don't really think there's anything else too much. As you can see, you have to try and get them to meet at the same point, and then you're going to have to try to either create a bisecting line there to cut them, or see if they will join together, which is unlikely even though they're coming to the same point. There's just so many different angles going on there. Invalid point, so it won't cut them there. We can try the handrail joint. Parameter is incorrect because they're not straight beams, so it's not going to do that. So what you're going to have to do is create a bisecting line, which is this line here. You're also going to have to create a bisecting angle between these two. Basically what you're going to do, I guess I'm trying to figure out the best way for me to do it is, why don't we work it out right now, I guess. So it's going to be the angle between that stringer and this flat one. So basically it's going to be, let's just work it out. 2D wireframe. Let's copy that. So it's the same length. So we're going to copy that over to here. And then we're going to rotate through the y-axis. If I can only remember where my tool palettes are, rotate through the y-axis. So we can rotate this with a reference point from here to here, and I want to just bring it down level. Alright, then we're going to draw a line between that and this. And then we're going to draw a bisecting line, which will be to the midpoint of that, because these two lines are the same length. And that bisects that angle. And then we can copy that from there over to this point. So that's kind of, you can see what I'm doing there. So that's kind of coming up into the center of that. And this is going to this point here. So we need to draw a beam that's at that kind of weird angle. So we can put the UCS in at 3 points. So this point, this point. You know what, that point is not right there. That's part of my issue, maybe why I can't join that. Oh no, here, that's it there, yeah, sorry. To that point. Yeah, that's not exactly what I want, because that's not right there either. Interesting. I'm doing something wrong there. Basically, my way of doing it is to see. I think this point is not right. Oh, it's not right because I extended it. That's right. So basically, I'm trying to get the bisecting line. Sorry, I'm boring myself. Basically, I'm trying to get the bisecting line so I can draw this through here and have something like that, and then put your UCS on to this, and then we can cut those together. So what we do is rotate around that axis there and then cut this. See, I've shortened the beam, but I've already cut that, so so the UCS is at the right angle, we just have to move it up. So what we'll do is set the UCS back to world, draw a line up. As you can tell, it's been a while since I did this, and we went up 3 feet, and then we're going to do UCS previous, and then we're going to move that up to that point there. Cut that one there, and then what I'll do is rotate around the x-axis, and then do the same command again. Cut that there, and that's how I would join that together. By no means perfect, but it's pretty damn close, right? So you're gonna have to do the same with the stringer. You can try and join it and see what happens. Invalid pointer, so it doesn't like it. Even if you try this, it'll do something weird. So you kind of have to do the same thing as what I just did, as far as I know. Now, if somebody else has a better way of doing it, that would be great. I'd like to know. I don't know if this helped anyone, probably not. But that's kind of where you're going with that. So if we set this back and look at the top, You can see your handrail is inside, your stringer's out here. So you're close to where you need to be. I am having some issue here. This is certainly not as close as I want it to be. I'm not sure why that is. I must have made a mistake with those circles or something. Yeah, see, this is running on a different circle. I don't know if I picked a different center point by accident, if my center point is slightly off. But if I have a chance, I'll redo this video. That's kind of what you want, and then you can create another layer for construction lines for your next stairs, different color, and just save all those, and that's your stairs, right? Put carriers in underneath, whatever you need. Maybe that's useful to somebody. Alright, take care.